Some time ago, we did an unboxing of the Breville Bakery Chef, and we never got around to doing a full test and review on it. So now it's time. We're gonna do a full Amy Learns to Cook review on this mixer. We're gonna whip some cream with the whisk, we're going to make some cookies with the paddle, and we're gonna make some bread dough with the dough hook. So join me. Let's do a stand mixer review of the Breville Bakery Chef. So I know everybody's been asking me to do a review of this mixer and I just haven't got around to it. But now, based on our current situation, we're currently at home all day, we're gonna put this baby to the test. So we did an unboxing. I'll put a link down to that in the description as well as up here. We also previously did a review of the prior model of Breville mixer, and that is right over there. That is the Scraper Mixer Pro. And after that mixer came out, I'll put a link to that review in the description as well as up here too. After that came out, Breville is from Australia, and they came out in Australia with the Bakery Bosch. And that mixer was interesting because it has 1200 watts. And here in the US, we really can't run a mixer like that because we are on 110 instead of 220. So they finally came out with an American version of the Bakery Bosch, and it's called the Bakery Chef, and that's what this is. So the difference between this and that is they have a lot more watts than we do. They have 1200 watts and we have 500 watts. So this one is a little different than the regular Breville Bakery Bosch. But one upgrade, well, a few upgrades from the sous chef that this mixer has is it comes with this glass bowl. The previous one came with a metal bowl. This one came with a glass one. So that's kind of a neat upgrade. It has a little better trim level than the other mixer. It's got trim around here where that one didn't. And it comes with a few additional things. It comes with a smaller 3-quart. So this is a 5-quart. I believe this is a 3-quart metal bowl. And it comes with a lid for the bowl in case you want to throw something in the refrigerator. And it also has a little different paddle. The other paddle was just regular gray plastic. This one is a clear plastic, so that's kind of neat. So we're going to be judging this mixer on the categories that we have judged all the other mixers. We are going to be looking at the overall look and feel of the mixer. That's the fit, the finish, the sort of wow factor to it, right? And all the things that come with it. We are going to be judging the whisk by whipping cream. As I say, we're going to be using the paddle, we're going to be making some peanut butter cookies, and we're going to be using the dough hook to make some bread dough. So, the overall look and feel. So I think this is an upgrade over the Scraper Mixer Pro. I just like the trim level on it. I think it comes with some more neat features with the glass bowl. I would say I've used the KitchenAid glass bowl and I'm not a huge fan of it. Some people like it. To me, it's a little heavy. This one is not terribly heavy. It's not quite as heavy as the KitchenAid. Has a pour spout. Okay. So we'll see how it performs. That's really what it's about, right? I think this is kind of neat. It's kind of jazzy looking, but it is plastic, so that's, I don't know, the longevity. But I do think it's neat that they include an additional bowl. Okay, for starters, just like the Scraper Mixer Pro, this mixer has 2 handles, one here and one here for easy moving around. The other thing it does is here's the cord, and it wraps up in the mixer, so you don't have this big cord going everywhere, right? I love that about this mixer, and the same with that one. We do have our glass bowl. We have a nice handle here that not only helps with moving it around, but it helps with tilting the tilt head up, and it has a nice tilt head on it. Let me pull the cord out here real quick. So one thing that these mixers have that a lot of mixers don't have is it has a timer here, so you'll know how long it's mixing. So, and it also has, instead of having like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here on the speeds, it actually tells you where it's doing. So it has a pause, it has folding and kneading, light mixing, creaming and beating, and then aerating and whipping. So I put the whip on here. There's a little interlock, so you have to turn it to off and then turn it on. Yeah, it has a little light. That's kind of neat, huh? That allows you to see in the bowl really nicely. Yeah. It's not an overly noisy mixer, and it's not shaking and all that crazy stuff. Interesting.
How's the weight of the machine? Is it manageable?
It has this pause. No pulse, but a pause. It's not overly heavy. It's kind of a sexy mixer. I can say that.
So what kind of grade do we give it, Boo?
So what's a sexy mixer?
Does it make you go, wow?
I mean, it's neat. I do like that. Let me get this on here.
Does it make you want to take pictures with it?
Pictures with it?
You know, pose, do selfies?
Yeah. I want to do a selfie with it. I mean, it's very much like the Scraper Mixer Pro. It definitely is an upgrade. I like the trims. I just think it's a fancy looking mixer, right? The overall look and feel, I'm gonna give it an A. Okay, our first test, we are gonna do the whip, and we are gonna whip some cream. So we chilled all these parts, the bowl, the whip, and the cream. Well, obviously the cream's already chilled, but we have a pint of heavy whipping cream.
No, we don't have heavy whipping cream. They only had whipping cream.
Okay, I don't know what the difference is.
Fat content, maybe? I don't know.
Probably. And let's lower the mixing head down, and let's rock and roll. I kind of like the light. Starting to look good. I'm going to put in some powdered sugar. You want it sweet or not too sweet, Boo?
Well, this is going to my coffee, so, you know, a little sweet's okay. Are we a soft peach yet?
Yeah. And some vanilla. I'll open this up. Squeeze of vanilla. Which does change the color of it just slightly. And we have whipped cream.
And that was maybe a minute.
Doo-doo. I think it's an A in my book.
All right, Boo, do the needful. What do you do with whipped cream?
Here, I'll feed you. Come here.
You gotta do that over because you weren't typical Amy.
Double dip it.
Oh.
I gotta do that every time.
That's an Amy, all right. I give her face shot there an A too.
Sorry, Boo.
Yeah, she's sorry, all right.
I made a mess.
Clean up, aisle 2.
Time for the paddle. Now, we're using this very interesting scraper paddle. It's made out of plastic and it's clear. So it might be kind of cool to watch this baby. So we're gonna make some peanut butter cookies. I have some butter in here. And we're gonna go ahead and put the paddle on. And we're gonna lower this down. Oh, we're gonna lower the mixer head down. And we're gonna put in some sugar. And some brown sugar. And we're going to cream it. I would say it's doing a good job creaming and scraping the sides. One of the things is I think that that scraper paddle gives it a little bit rougher of a ride than it does with the regular paddle. Okay, so I pulled the regular paddle on here, and I just wanted to, for giggles, see what the difference is between these two paddles. So get that one off of here. We're gonna put this one on here. And just scrape this down a little bit. Let's see how this other paddle does. So what I immediately see is there's a big difference. Because look how that looks. It's all completely onto the sides of the bowl. Yeah, so let's see what this scraper paddle can do to solve this situation.
So like you said, it was smoother.
The mixer ran smoother.
But it also wasn't mixing all that well either, though, I don't think.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna push this down. We're going straight in to this paddle, the scraper, and we'll see if the theory is right about the paddle. Yep. Yep. I would say that I would like this paddle to be slightly up a little. There's no like adjustment to it because I think it gives it a little bit of ride. But one thing I can tell you with creaming is, and I've had this with a certain mixer. I won't name names. But this is how you want it to look when you've creamed something. See how nice that looks? It's nice, it's just creamed. In some recipes you have to cream like for 5 minutes. I had a mixer that couldn't do that. So, yeah.
So how's the quality of the cream?
I think it does a good job. It does a good job. It is a little bouncy. So we got some peanut butter to put in here.
I can take that off your hands, boo.
Yeah, Eric loves the peanut butter. He just spoons it.
Hey, who needs bread?
Yeah. He doesn't even eat it as a sandwich. He just eats it straight out of the jar. And that's a beautiful cream on that. So I'm going to put 2 eggs in there. Woo! Yeah. So I got some flour, some baking soda, some baking powder, and some salt. I'm going to give a little bit of a mix to that, a preliminary mix. Now, this will be the test, right? Woo! I don't want this flying all over me. Nice. Sweet. So let's see what we got here.
How well did it incorporate, Boo?
It did a really good job. It's a little bumpier of a ride with the with that scraper on there, but the scraper does do a good job. The other one didn't do that great. I mean, it did a good job. It's just you'd have to scrape more. So I think it did a good job. The bumpiness is a little.
It may have been a little bumpy, but the tilt head didn't go cattywampus.
No, the tilt head didn't go cattywampus. It did a good job, though. I think it did a good job. What would you say on a grade for that, Eric?
Did it do the job?
It did the job. I think any thicker of the dough, we might have a little bit of problem. I think it did a good job, though.
So?
A minus.
Really?
B plus.
Wow, you're a tough grader.
I'm a tough grader.
It did its job.
A minus, B plus, whatever you want.
Leave your comments, everybody.
Yeah, so let's go on to the bread dough. Okay, it's time for the dough hook and some bread dough. And bread is what is the most challenging for a stand mixer, so we're getting into the good stuff. So we have some water here. We have a little instant yeast. This is the saf, and this stuff goes off like a firecracker. Put a little sugar in there. Drop this down. More sugar in there. Got a little oil. Soften the bread up. I'm going to put the salt in a little bit after the flour so I don't kill that yeast off. See how this baby does. This is not a huge loaf. This is a 3-cup loaf, so got our salt. Sometimes you gotta either splash it with a little water or put a little flour, depending on how dry your dough is. Got some spinning action going on. And a little, I don't know if,
Not bad, not bad.
I mean, I don't think the dough hook is doing a great job developing it. And I'm wondering if these, there might be just too much slickness in the glass thing. So you don't get a slightly, just seems like it's spinning around. So let's put on the other bowl and see if we get a little grip on that stainless, because the stainless has a little bit of groove in it from when they machine it. And I don't know, I haven't had a lot of luck with glass bowls in bread. So let me get that over here. Okay, the only reason I wanted to put the stainless steel on here is it has these little machine, it's like where they machine it, and it's got lines, and to me it almost has a little bit more traction than that. We'll see. I think it's a little better. I kind of think that if the dough hook was a little wider, it would bring that dough a little closer to the side of the bowl and give it a little bit more resistance to allow it to move around a little bit. Because the problem is when the hook is too far away from the edge of the bowl, it's just going to spin because there's nothing providing resistance to, to change the position of the dough. And I kind of think if the dough hook was a little wider, it would do a little bit, better job.
You think it might do better if you had a bigger ball of dough, maybe?
Maybe. But I mean, this is a single loaf. It should be able to make a single loaf. I mean, that's what I want to make. If you want to make 2 loaves, you want to do 6 cups of flour. May do better in that, but I wanted to make 1 loaf of bread, so. From my angle, it's doing a lot of spinning. The motor seems to be handling it. Yeah.
I mean, it's bucking a little bit, which is good, right?
It's good that it's bucking?
Yeah, because it shows that it's twisting a little.
Well.
I mean, it's not crazy.
It's a tad bit sticky, but it's pulling away from my hands clean. So it's not overly, it's hydrated pretty well. Let me stick this back in here and give it a couple more minutes. Okay, so I got the dough out of here. Put a little tiny bit of flour. You can put a little oil on there. So, what do I think of this? I think it did a pretty good job. I think after I let it roll, knead for a little while, it did a pretty good job. I definitely like the metal bowl better than that. I think it really slid around in that thing. And it was a little bit better in this. It seemed to have quite a bit of power, but once again, with a lot of stand mixers, I wouldn't use this if you're going to be a big bread maker. If you plan to make bread on a regular basis, I would probably go for something else. If you only plan to make bread once a month or twice a month or something like that in single small batches like this, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but it did the job. Didn't hear any big, a lot of rattling out of it. Seemed to have pretty good power, but then again, if I were to push this and make 2 loaves, 3 loaves, I probably wouldn't do that in this. So, you can take that for what it's worth. If you're a big bread maker or you want to get into bread making, I would give it a pass. If you just want to make, cookies and occasional breads and stuff like that, it's a pretty good mixer. Overall, I probably give it a B+ on the bread. I think I'm coming out at like A-, B, and B on the bread. I think it's just, there's not anything that I would say, wow, it's fantastic. If you like the styling, it will do the job for you, but I would say that it's, it's sort of your average everyday mixer. There's nothing, remarkable different than any other tilt head. And I wouldn't go over one batch. Yes, Eric?
Teacher, how's it price-wise to other ones? Is this a little more expensive? Is it an upgrade to an average mixer?
One of the things is I don't think they're selling this in the U.S. anymore. I don't know how well it did. They're not selling the Scraper Mixer Pro, and I don't see this on like Amazon and stuff. They're just not selling it. So I think it just didn't do well here. And part of the problem could be that we have 110. So this is an Australian company. They designed these to go on 220. They have way more power in the Australian version of this. I just think, there's nothing to make it distinguishable from other tilt heads.
You think it's tough because KitchenAid has such a market share?
Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. I just think if you like the styling, you like the light, you like the timer, you like the fact that you can put the cord into the mixer, those might be something that would take it over the top over a KitchenAid. But you also have to remember this mixer doesn't have a hub. So you're also limited because there's not all the attachments that are available on like the Kenwoods, the Bosches, and the KitchenAids. So that's another factor. It's a decent basic mixer, but I give it a B. So we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna let it rise. We're gonna shape it and make a loaf out of it and have a good old time. So cooks, I hope you enjoyed the review of the Breville Bakery Chef. We have his little older brother up there, the Scraper Mixer Pro. I think I got basically to the same conclusion on that one as if I did on this one. So I think really the only upgrade between that and this is because you get more styling. You get the trim, you get the fancy looking paddle, the scraper paddle, and you get the extra bowl with the lid on it, which I think this is better for some things because it's a little more grippy. But, you know, other than that, I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please subscribe below, leave me a comment and a like, and also visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. You can catch me all over social media at facebook.com/groups/amylearnstocook. You can catch me on Pinterest and Twitter at Amy Learns to Cook, and on Instagram at Cookin' with Amy. Now, let's bake this bread. I would say that the Bakery Chef is definitely an upgrade over the scraper mixer pole. So I think that this is definitely an upgrade over the
scraper beater.
So like the scraper mixer